Hey guys, what's happening? This is Christopher Cedar here, and in this quick little video, I want to kind of show you a cool little spreadsheet that I had put together, and all of our Virtual Flips members will have access to this, which is pretty darn cool. Now, check this out. This is kind of where you can start putting together your 2015, 2016, whatever it may be, revenue goals, and kind of figure out what you need to be doing in order to make the money you want to be making with wholesaling. Now, I'll kind of go over this real quick here. As you can see here, um, all you really simply have to do with this is put in how much annual revenue you want to produce. Now, this is going to be pretty much your gross revenue. So as you can see here, we have it set for 500,000, and I'll set it for less here in a minute, and I'll let you see kind of how the numbers change. Now, you can see our weekly revenue will be 9,615, monthly revenue 41,000. Now I've put in here, and you can actually change this to whatever your average deal is. So maybe I'll change that. For us, it's right around 6 to 7 grand. I'd say 7 grand is probably about average deal for us. So we'll put in the average deal. Now, as you know, we flip houses virtually, so a lot of the deals that we do, we split the profit with a wholesaler. So you can see here, average JV profit 3,500. Now that's for just for our virtual flip deals. So we can kind of compare the two locally virtual deals. And I just want to, I guess, make this clear too with a lot of people, especially us. We honestly cannot do enough wholesale deals in our own backyard to produce this sort of income. Now, that's just the way it is. We're in a small market, and there's just not enough deals, not enough people we can mail to produce that income. Now, we'll go down here, annual deals needed. As you can see here, in order to produce this type of income, right here, and doing 7,000 per deal, we're going to need 71 deals. Now, with JV deals, you can see that if we're only producing 3,500, we're going to need 143 deals. Now, I know that seems like a ton of deals, which, I mean, it is a lot of deals. But if you're doing this spread out, doing it virtually spread out over 10 different real estate markets, doing a couple deals a month in each market, you can see how it's really not as difficult. Now, leads to produce a deal, usually, and this is another thing that you can change depending on your average response rate. But for us, average, we get about a 3 to 5%. So I went on the low side, 3%. Now, if we send out 1,000 mailings and we get 30 leads, we'll usually get one deal from about 30 leads. Typically, if we send out 2,000, we'll get 50 to 60, and we usually get 1 to 2 deals, typically about 2 deals from that mailing campaign. So that's kind of on average. It's going to vary mailing campaign to mailing campaign, but over time, it'll kind of always be about the same. So as you can see, if you're doing this by yourself, you're going to need annually 2,143 leads coming in, and that's people that phoned in and said they might want to sell. Now, here's going to be how many to produce that. You're going to have to send out about 71,000 mailers per year. Now, I know for a lot of people that seems like a ton, but I just want to give you guys the cold hard facts. Now, monthly marketing, you're going to need to send about close to 6,000 postcards per month in order to produce that. Annual cost of that is 35,000, and cost per lead, what did we do here, is about $16.65. So I believe we just took our annual marketing budget divided by the annual leads right there, and that gave us that. Now, if you're going to do JV, you're going to pretty much need twice as many. So as you can see here, we need, as opposed to 2,100, we need 4,200. Our monthly marketing, we need to be sending around 12,000 per month. That's costing around 6,000 per month. Now you can see there, annual marketing sent 42,000 or 142,000 postcards. Cost of that marketing around 71,000. Cost per lead is the same, just pretty much a double. Now, here's the big thing that kind of separates the different deals. Now, if you're doing this all yourself, you're going to probably work about 20 hours per deal to get a deal closed. Now that's Some deals would be less, some deals are going to be more where you're going to really have to put in the work. So that's probably about average. So total hours worked, that'll be that per year. Total hours per week, you're going to put in about 27 hours. Now, for most people, that's great. That's less than a 40-hour work week. But the one thing is you're doing a lot of deals yourself. You're the technician doing a lot of the work. Now, on the JV side, typically I work about 2 hours per deal that we typically do. We just closed the deal on, what was it, Tuesday, that I honestly maybe had about 45 minutes of actual work invested in it. Yeah, 45 minutes. That's about it. And we cashed a check for 9,000. Now this is a JV deal, so I'm splitting that, so I'll net 4,500 on it, and I didn't do much work at all. And I think the marketing campaign that I sent out cost me, I think it was less than $600. So my net profit, $3,900 for 45 minutes of work, not bad. Now with JV, typically about 2 hours. I mean that's honestly average with some of these virtual deals that we're doing. So total hours worked, 285. Total hours per week, about 5.5 hours. So you can see your hours per week. If you want to actually create that kind of 4-hour work week lifestyle that you want, this is what you need to be doing. Now here we're going to dive into expenses. Now I recommend that you hire an acquisitions manager, pay him, even on these virtual deals and some of these other deals. Let's see what we expand that a little bit. Pay him 25% of your gross. Now some you might pay him a little more, but if you're doing this sort of volume, he's making 125,000 a year off of 500,000. He's living good, you're living good. Now here are some just random office expenses. We use FreedomSoft to run our business. If you use a different software or whatnot, put it in there. A voicemail system, we use PatLive, but for this sort of volume, sometimes I guess PatLive can be worth it, but it's also can be expensive. Random office supplies, cost of marketing. So your net revenue to yourself, if you're doing this sort of volume, is around 335,000 per year. Not bad at all. Now, expenses for if you're doing this virtual, I would say the same thing. Hire an acquisitions manager that can handle the phone calls, coordinate with your joint venture partners in different markets, and pay them well. They're pretty much going to be you. I kind of spelled acquisitions manager wrong here, but they're going to be you. And if you pay them that sort of income, they're going to love you, because all they're going to have to do is they're going to be working virtually also and working from their own office, just kind of making sure everything is set up. If you're doing it virtually, you can have them setting up the marketing campaigns, doing pretty much all of the legwork for you. Office expenses, I just took this total here. And marketing expenses, our marketing expenses are going to be higher because we're doing double the marketing. But you can still see that our net revenue is going to be right around 300,000. Now here I threw in a bonus. If you're doing this, I use PatLive in our business. Now here's kind of the cost of PatLive. I'll take that back. Now as you can see here, with PatLive, I pay $150 per month and I get 3,000 free minutes. Now I took each phone call is about 4 minutes long. So if you're talking to, where was it? Somewhere around, that many 2,100 people per month, somebody's going to be on the phone for over 8,000 minutes. So subtract your free minutes, you're going to have total paid minutes of 5,571. So the cost per year, 1,800 plus your 5,571 minutes. So your total cost of PatLive per year is going to be it's going to be over $7,000. But honestly, if you're making this sort of income, I mean, it's totally worth it. You can also just use a voicemail and just have your acquisitions manager call everybody back. But that's not a bad price to pay if you're generating huge amounts of income. So now let's go down and compare the two. This is going to be self, and this is going to be JV deals. As you can see, self, you generated 335,000. Your net income weekly was almost 6,500. Your monthly income 2,700. Now hours per week worked, you worked 27. So your revenue per hour was $234.87. That is taking hours worked divided by net weekly income. Now, if we go down to JV deals, you made close to 300,000. Your weekly net income, as you can see, it was a little less. Your monthly income was a little less, but the hours worked. You worked 5 hours and about 50 minutes. So your revenue per hour is, almost 4 times that. So as you can see, this is where doing it virtually, you're going to have more expenses, you're going to have more costs, and you're going to have to do more deals. But the revenue per hour, once you have it all set up, is just ridiculous. There's nowhere else that you can make that kind of hourly income. Now let's go back here. Let's say that your net revenue goal is 100,000. That's what you want to make this year. So your weekly revenue, as you can see, it's going to be about 2,000 a week. Monthly is going to be about 8,000. Now this is, and you can see it will average profit the same. So annual deals, you're only going to need to do that sort of revenue is 14 deals. That's really easy to do. I can do 14 deals in my own market, in a smaller market. JV deals, if you're just going to joint venture, you're going to need to do about double, 29, which working your market and 1 or 2 other smaller markets, you can easily do that. Leads to produce is the same. Annual leads needed, as you can see, it's gone down quite a bit. You need quite a bit less. Monthly marketing sent, you only need to be sending to do that sort of revenue to do 14 deals, about 1,200 pieces per month, which anybody can do that. That's not bad. Annual, you're going to be needing to send about 14,000. And remember, these can vary. Annual marketing budget, only 7,000. Cost per lead has stayed the same. JV leads needed. If you're going to do JV, it's going to be about double that. So as you can see here, annual marketing sent, you're going to need to send about 28,000 postcards. Cost of marketing is double than that because you're going to need to do double the leads if you're only getting 50%. Now, hours worked, you can see here, you're going to work about 20 hours per week, total hours, about 5 hours. So if you want to make less, you can work less. To do that many deals, if you have an acquisitions manager thrown in there, you really don't have to work that hard. Now, JV hours per deal, 2 hours per deal. So this year, you're closing about, what are you closing? This one, you're closing about a little over 2 deals a month. This one, you're closing about 1 deal per month. So as you can see here, your hours, you're way less than the 4-hour work week. You're working not very much hours at all. Now, your acquisitions manager, he's going to get 25% of your net income. You still have the same office expenses. Cost of marketing went down. So your net revenue, and you're only working a few hours per week, is about 65,000, 64,000, a little over. Now, if you're doing it the other way, as you can see here, your net revenue went down to 56,000, but you only worked an hour a week. Now, Pat Live expenses, as you can see here, if you're only doing that sort of volume, your Pat Live expenses, you're going to get your free minutes, your total phone calls. So you're not going to have anything out of there. You're going to still have, and this formula doesn't work as well if you're not doing the volume here, but all you're going to really have is this $1,800 per year expense. Now, we'll compare still net income from self-generated deals, 64,000. Weekly income, about 1,200. Monthly income, you're making about 5,000 per month net. Hours worked, not very many hours worked. Now, you can also see here, because typically, a wholesale deal, you're going to work about 20 or so hours on a wholesale deal. So if you're doing one wholesale deal per month, you're only really working 20 hours on that one deal. Now you can see here net income JV deals. You're going to make 56,000, so you're going to make a little bit less. Weekly income, you're going to make a little bit less. Monthly income's about close to $5,000. You're not working very hard, so your revenue per hour is close to $1,000 still. Not bad at all. Let's see if we want to make, let's say 150,000. Seems about fair. Let's actually get it up to, what would it? There we go. Now we're up to almost 2 deals a month. 160,000. Weekly revenue is that. Monthly revenue is 13,000. Now you can see here, self-generated, you're going to need 23, about 2 deals a month. JV deals, you're going to need about 4 deals a month. Pretty much all the same. Your annual marketing budget went up to 11,000. Your annual marketing budget went up to 22,000 for that. Total hours worked, 8 hours per week. Still not bad at all. Your acquisitions manager, you're paying him 40,000, which for a lot of people that's a great little income where they're not really working a ton. Also, they're probably working about the same amount of you on these, so not bad. Your expenses, your net revenue on that is going to be right over 104,000. Now then, the same thing, your net revenue is going to be a little lower, but remember, you're not working very much at all on these JV deals. Pat Live expense, you're still under that 3,000 with doing that many deals, so not bad at all. So as you can see here, your net income, it's still, if you're doing it all yourself, you're not going to get to the net income that you per hour that you probably want, but still $229 per hour is still pretty good. So this is where you need to decide what you want to do with your business. Do you want to create that virtual flips business where you're making huge dollars per hour and you're not working very much at all, doing that sort of revenue? Or do you want to do it all yourself, working a lot harder and making about the same but making less per hour? That's where that's what you have to decide, I guess. And it's not gonna, your hours worked in the beginning when you're setting up your virtual flips business is going to be a lot more than this. Believe me, you're going to have to work hard. You're going to have to put in the time and effort to get it to that point. But once you do get it to that point, that's when you can travel the world and still have deals coming in where you're, okay, this one week I'll set up my marketing campaigns to go out. I'll spend about an hour doing that. Boom, they're all out for the entire month, or you can set it up so they're out for the entire 2 months. And then all you have to do is just kind of catch up with your acquisitions manager and ask him, hey, what's going on? What are the deals we're doing? And so on. So that's really it. And you can also, if you feel like your acquisitions manager needs more, you can pay him more. Pay him. I guess if you wanted to pay him 50% of each deal that you do, feel free, as long as, it still works out where you're still making money and not having to work a ton, that works out. But, most acquisitions managers working the time they do, if you can produce these consistent results, will love that extra 40,000, not doing a ton of work. But that's it for this 2015 wholesaling revenue goals. Now, to get this goal sheet, if you would like it, sign up for the Virtual Flips course, and it'll be in the members area. That's all I have for you. This is Christopher Cedar with virtualflips.com.